How's it going, guys? It's me, Domo of the Domo channel, here today with our episode 3 reaction impression thing of Gakkou Gurashi, or School Life, as we all know it. So, every single week, their new episode always comes back to surprise me. So, last review reaction, I was talking about how it was a whole backstory episode thing for Kurumi. Well, this episode was sort of the same thing, but with Megune, but we also got a surprise look at the first day of the outbreak. So now that really surprised me a lot here. So, as always, if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, then don't watch this video. Or if you haven't seen this episode either. So, back to the review. So, oh my goodness, there's just so much stuff about this. Okay, so basically right now, in this current episode, I am just like starting to like get to know the characters, right? We're starting to like them, right? So that they could set some kind of thing later in future episodes, which is really torturing me right now because now, after watching this episode that was mostly dedicated to Megune, I really like her and I hope she doesn't die later on. And it's really coincidence because in the first episode I thought that Megune was actually dead and she was the one buried on the rooftop with the cross, but that wasn't the case because I assume now it's the boyfriend, and supposedly here in this episode we see that Megune is like, there with them. So the start of this episode, we start off with Megune waking up for her daily routine as a teacher, right? She wakes up, gets ready for school, and stuff like that. There seemed to have been some kind of like family issue with Megune, or like about like a conflict about people not believing she could be a teacher. And I mean, that was pretty interesting. It's an interesting topic to discuss, but then, all that goes away once we have a zombie outbreak in our hands. So she goes to school, and in the school, in this like mostly the the first half of the episode, we see that a lot of the students really see Megune like as a friend or as an older sister and not as a teacher, and most of the other staff at the school are kind of not really liking that people or students see her more as a friend and less as a teacher, because most teachers or most students also call her Megune or Sensei, or mostly they call her Megune, right? But that's just because they're really close to each other. And in this episode, we see that Yuki was really close to her. Their sis. Are they sisters? I'm pretty sure sisters. Or no. I don't. I'm not sure they're sisters, actually. I didn't look that fact up. I just assumed that they're always sisters because she calls her Megune, and Nesan, like Nesan is like older sister, or like sister. I might have to look that up afterwards, or I'll put some kind of text here saying that if they're sisters or not. But everyone calls her Megune. We also see that Kurumi goes to Megune for advice about the senpai, or the guy in the track club, and her romance issues. And after seeing that, it's just like it's a really great. It's just really amazing how like a lot of people, a lot of students, like could trust Megune. Why? Because she's like an older sister to them, or like a friend, not someone as a teacher. You could talk to her about things, and she'll listen to you. She's a caring person, and that's who Megune is. Megune is this teacher, but also like person that you could trust. She's amazing, and after that, I was just like, Megune is awesome. Like, yeah, and then. So afterwards, after doing some after-school study tests with Yuki because she's failing her classes or whatever, they go to the rooftop and find Yuri, who is in the gardening club staying after school. And I forgot to mention, but there have been freaking why am I holding these glasses? There have been in this whole episode, there have been hints of the zombie outbreak happening in the world. And my mind is just like, are you guys kidding me? There's a zombie outbreak going on in the news. You guys see this? You guys gotta evacuate. But no, they're still in school, and they just let it happen. So Daisy, everyone. Back to this topic. So Yuki and Megune go to the roof, right? But Megune got this alert on her phone. It's like from her mom, and it's like, "Oh, call me. There's an emergency. Zombie outbreak going on. Did you see the news? Did you see all the videos?" And it's like, "Oh shoot, something's going on out there." But they all go into the roof. If you see on this screenshot right here on my TV, and there they meet Yuri, who is part of the gardening club, just still there after school. None of the other gardening club members have shown up for some reason. They all probably went home or something like that. And then you just hear like screaming or banging on the door, and then we see Kurumi with the senpai, and then everything about my head was just like, oh no, it's a repeat of episode 2. So the whole cast is gathered together on the rooftop with the senpai, and just as we saw in episode 2, the senpai was bit, he was injured, he turns into a zombie, and Kurumi gets the shovel and then kills him in front of everyone. And that was just like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Like, amazing in like a surprising kind of way, you know? So, Kurumi kills the senpai zombie with a shovel, right? And then basically that's like the starting point of the whole, like, the group. Like, we have Yuri, we have, actually we won't have Mikun, darn it. We have Yuri, we have Kurumi, we have Megune, and we have Yuki, except the other person because she's found out later apparently. So you have the school living club there, and like after the whole outbreak thing happens, she's like everyone's looking towards Megune. Is like, Sensei, what do we do? It's like, I don't know what to do anymore. Zombie outbreak, Daisy, ah! And then like Megune, then well supposedly she starts the school living club, and that's how they start, you know, becoming survivors of this zombie outbreak. They learn to survive, they fight to survive, they you know, they adapt, they evolve to survive this DayZ zombie apocalypse. And there's something else I want to talk about. Oh yeah, I think, okay, so that's probably the first time that Yuki saw a zombie in the first time, because like when Kurumi was killing the zombie, Yuki was just staring like right at them. She wasn't looking away or anything. And I think that could be like the starting point of her imagining her school life thing in her mind, because you know after that point the whole zombie thing happened, and we all know where that goes off from episode 1 to 2. No, not technically 2, but you know, episode 1 and 2. 2 is a flashback of Kurumi. This one with Megu-Nee is a actual more in-depth look at the first day of the outbreak. The what happened, like the first day it happened at their school, and that caused them to become the school living club, which is pretty awesome. And we also got to learn more about Megune. And more about Megune. After the episode happens, they have like a school camping trip in the whatchamacallit, in the school basically. But then like a lot of this anime really hints towards me that Megune is dead. And like hear me out here. Ever since the first episode, I always thought Megune was dead. Why? Because the cross on the rooftop. And then after episode 2, I would assume that the senpai was killed on the rooftop and then buried there to be, you know, for Kurumi. But then like every single time when the students keep talking about Megune, or they talk to Megune, I mean like in the beginning I always thought that Yuki imagined Megune was there, and she would talk to this imaginary Megune, while the others in the club would also pretend to talk to her because just to keep Yuki, you know, sane, right? But then after, and that still happens to this very episode, because in the one day they were camping, right? They said, "Oh, we could have a tent of 4 in a classroom, and that'll fit all of us." But then like they leave out Megune, and they apologize. So then that just like makes me think, it's like, wait, is Megune actually dead? And like it doesn't feel like it to me. Like I don't want Megune to die anymore. All right, she cannot die. She's like the older sister compared to Yuri. All right, she cannot die. She's amazing. And if she's dead, I'm gonna be so sad because she's just amazing. Anyways, the way they talk about Megune, or like talk to her as if she like, oh, I forgot you were there. It feels like she's not there. But I mean, okay, I believe that she's alive. because you know the kids are doing their school thing, right? But then Megune is like off on her own trying to come up with ways to keep them alive, to protect them, to find help. She's like the one actually like, you know, taking lead while the students are having their fun with Yuki. That's what I think. I hopefully think that Yuki Megune is not dead, because after this episode, how could you not like Megune? I mean, there's only like 5 characters in this anime, so yeah, that's about it. Then that's the end of the episode. We see like them talk about a lot about Megune and how she's amazing. She's a great friend, older sister s kind of person. And the next episode, we finally see. I'm assuming it's the backstory behind Mikun, or Mikun. I forgot her name. It's Mikun, whatever Mikun, and how she was at the mall, and then they come over there to save them or to save her. I'm assuming that's what happens, because in the preview we see Mikun in like some kind of mall-looking place, and she has like a friend with her. But it could just be like a bunch of backstory, like this episode or episode 2, where like they're in the school, and then Mikun has like flashbacks of when she was in the mall before the outbreak. It could be like that. I'm assuming that's what it is. But I mean, we're getting closer, because now we have 5, right? We have Megune, Mikun, Yuki, Kurumi, and Yuri-san. So if we saw Kurumi, this one was about Megune, and now we have Yuki, Mikun, and Yuri. So I mean, after we learn more about these 3 and their backstory, all hell will break loose on this anime. And I swear, if anyone dies or gets bitten, I am going to scream and cry and be sad about it. But that is for next week. So thank you guys for watching this reaction of episode 3 of School Live, Gakkou Gurashi. I am getting too excited about this anime, and I'm getting too excited about its characters, and I'm getting too emotional. But that's normal, because this anime is amazing. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode reaction review of Gakkou Gurashi, or Charlotte, or the next video on the Domo channel. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So take care, guys, and matane.